Welcome. In front of me is an iPad Air from 2020, and today I'll go over unboxing along with an overview of this device. So popping it straight up open, we're presented right off the bat with the device itself here, and also on the top of here, the box, we have nothing. As you can see, the device is already set up. I did go through it so we don't have to sit through the setup, considering it is not the quickest one. So let's just set that to the side for now. And here, paperwork, stickers, don't even bother taking it out. Then in here, charger, Type-C, as you can clearly see right here, with the faintest rating that I have ever seen on any kind of surface. So if you will try to read anything on here, good luck. I was basically unable to distinct any kind of writing on here. The only thing that I can see is, well, their logo, obviously, and also the 20 watt. I really like the fact that they actually managed to put the 20 watt logo on there, so we're aware that it's 20 watts, because you're not gonna be able to see it right here. As a matter of fact, I think 4 different people at the office tried to read whatever was written here, and no one was able to decipher it. So yeah, thumbs up for basically hiding simple writing, and by making the font and the size of the font so small that, well, whatever, I'm not gonna finish that string of thoughts there. So yeah, moving on out of the charger, we got the Type-C cable. So both ends Type-C. That is actually really nice that they finally shifted to Type-C, so you don't actually have to go and look for someone that also has an Apple device to charge yours. So really nice there. Okay, now moving out of this one, there's nothing else in here, so I'm just gonna drop it to the side and move to the device itself. So let's pop it open. There we go. Let's put it on the stand right there. And I did have, oh, there we go, there's a pen. So I also did an unboxing of this pen. Short story, pen feels good, has a nice weight and works well. Feels a little bit like, well, it's just a solid block of something, which makes it kind of rough on the surface in my opinion. But other than that, it feels good, the texture is nice, and that's about it. Now, also, to finish up the pen, in my opinion, it is overpriced, and just way too overpriced. That's about it. At $100, no thanks. So, moving on to the device itself, it comes with a 10.9 inch display with a resolution of 1640 by 2360. So just a, well, mediocre resolution, I would say, nothing really mind-blowing right here. It has a Retina display with an 81.3% screen-to-body ratio and a 264 pixels per inch. So again, not the not the highest pixel count you could have here, but yeah. Now, outside of the screen-to-body ratio being kind of mediocre at this 2020, it does look nice. Not having a notch or any kind of protrusion, just a screen with a almost same size bezels all around, which looks really nice. Now, I would really like to see this design on an iPhone, because their iPhone 12s for some reason still keep up the notch appearance without any kind of reasoning at this time. Now, I believe their reason to having a notch and not a fingerprint sensor before was because fingerprint sensor is slow. So we drop a notch and added you a bunch of cameras for Face ID. And now this time has passed, in my opinion, and for iPhones, it's time for under-display fingerprint sensor and not a notch. And if they would have followed the design of iPad like it is here, just make the bezels thinner, kind of like on an iPhone it looks like, without a bezel, that would have, or notch, that would have looked just top notch. Now here I would also like to see a tiny bit smaller bezels. They are by all means kind of ungodly, too big, but that's just my personal opinion. Overall, the design is okay. Really also resembles just the iPhone's 5 design. along with the newer one of iPhones, what is it, 12. So I assume they basically keep the appearance similar to keep it kind of, well, unified. Now, the difference with the design of the back is the fact that there's no glass. It's just a aluminum back. I believe this is aluminum. So yeah, and a single camera at the back. Now if we flip it back over, we also have a selfie cam somewhere in here, though I can't really see it. Yep, it's right here, only visible in light, as you can see. So it is fairly well hidden. When I just lay it like this, I barely can't even see the lens right here. But that selfie cam is a 7 megapixel standard camera that shoots at 1080p at 30 and 60 frames. So it's an okay sensor, kind of small pixel count, but the fact that it shoots at 60 frames is really nice. And that single lens at the back, just lock it. That single lens at the back right over here is a 12 megapixel wide sensor that shoots at 4K 24, 30 and 60, and also 1080p 3060, along with 120 and 240. I believe those two, the 120 and 240, are slow-mo, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. I'm gonna check it later on if I remember in the camera settings. And apart from that, we are getting the basically newest chipset, so the Bionic A14, so that is also nice. Not sure why the notes are open. And in terms of battery, no info for some reason. I'm not really sure why there is no info about the battery. It only told me that it has up to 9 hours of battery life. Whoop-de-doo. 9 hours of battery life doesn't give me much of an info right there. I would really like to see the numbers, which is what I'm interested in. That's kind of how checking the specifications of a device works. I have a reliable info about the device, so I can compare to other things, but Apple seems to think otherwise. And apart from that, we already know that we have the 20-watt charger with writing so faint that I feel like I'm almost blind reading it. And also we have two different variants of this device, so 64 gigabyte storage, which not really sure why they still include 64, and then also 256, which is a I'm not exactly sure if there's anything between it. I couldn't really find any info. It looks like, from what I've seen people selling, it looks like it's just a massive jump from 64 to 256. So again, I'm not sure what's going on there. And then moving on to other things like the support for the pen. Obviously it does have it. If I just drop it, it starts charging it, as you can see right over here. So not much going on there. Now the problem with the pen that I do have is, for instance, if you open something and you try to quit it, you can't. You literally cannot leave until you use your finger. Why? What's the purpose here? The pen's supposed to help me in usability, accuracy, which it basically works almost in every way as a finger, but not where you would want to actually use it. So cool, I open up an app, navigate through it, but I can't leave. Amazing. I want to pull down control center. Nah, can't do that. As you can see, it doesn't even launch. Oh, it does launch it, but there we go. Control center pull down with my finger, but if I try to do the same with a pen, nothing happening. What? Why? What's the purpose of this $100 pen if half of the features are just gone from it? So yeah, that's kind of the gripe that I have right here. Now obviously the pen works fine. It does feel a little bit rough on the surface. It is, as you can hear, it's kind of like a brick. So whenever you tap on it, there is no like smoothness to it, any kind of nivellation of impact. So it does feel fairly harsh to the display, in my opinion. And also it feels like the tip is plastic, so that also adds to that experience of it being a little bit harsh on the display. Something that I really liked in things like, for instance, Samsung Note series is the fact that their tip of the pens were I guess on a spring or something like it, so when you would press it, it would dip a little bit to remove that strain on the tip. You don't have anything like that right here, I believe, and if you do, it is fairly minimal to the point that you can't even tell that there is something like that. Now, comparing it to obvious contender right there would be the Galaxy Tab S, I believe 7 was the newest one, which obviously comes with a pen, which is something that things like the iPad Pro should be coming with. I'm not gonna be saying that the Air version should have a pen, because Air version isn't necessarily marketed as a professional tool, so just a tablet with a pen support that you can buy separately, so that's fine. But comparing it in terms of usability to the Galaxy Tab S7, I believe it was, which comes with a pen, the pen there wasn't as accurate as this is, so this is really nice when it comes down to accuracy. And if I could showcase it somewhere, I'm not really sure where, I guess right here. Create document. I'm not sure if I can actually draw anything. Okay, drawing, there we go. Why can't I draw? Oh, there we go. So, as you can see, the pen, how it works is, can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. So it works really nice, honestly, in this term. Now you can also press it harder to make it, well, fairly dark, or you can just kind of press it, although it doesn't seem to do that much with this app, but it does have a sensitivity to it, so that is one thing. But obviously the pen is fairly accurate. I can do a little bit more detailed drawings with this than I could with, for instance, a Galaxy, but let's be honest, you have to buy this separately, and the jump from, well, paying $100 more for a pen and having one included isn't big enough for me to justify, for instance, getting a pen from Apple. Now, I will also mention that it's not like you have a choice here, so if you want to use a pen with your iPad, you do have to get this. That is also one of the reasons why I wouldn't be getting an iPad, to be frank with you. The scumminess of their like business marketing is just beyond my reason to actually deal with this. So if I would be getting a tablet for instance, drawing with a pen, I would straight up go for a Samsung. I would lose a tiny bit, and I mean like really tiny bit of accuracy, especially in the super small movements. But number one, the device would be cheaper, and number two, the pen would come included with the device. So that is one crucial part that I cherish, I guess, the fact that, for instance, other companies add their pen included with the device that already has support for it. Because let's be honest, when it comes down to tablets like this that have support for a pen, the support for a pen needs to be built into the display. So you're already paying for that by purchasing it, and then the pen doesn't come included with it, even though the device clearly came with a mindset of it having support for it. Otherwise, the production of it would be cheaper without the support for a pen. Now, without the support for a pen, if you get a pen and try to use it, it wouldn't just work. So clearly this was made right off the bat with this in mind, but this did not come included with the device. So it's just a scummy way of basically doing stuff, obviously Apple way. And like I said before, the problem with me just not being able to use certain shortcuts right here is just infuriating, but you can do it with your finger. Now, it seems like a minuscule thing to complain about, but it just adds up, and for me it adds up too much for me to actually want to deal with this. So that's kind of my overview. Now, like I said, this isn't necessarily marketed as a pro version of this device. As you all know, there's also an iPad Pro, and this is just an Air. Now, because of this, I kind of can look past the fact that this is not really a professional tool, so it's just probably more for checking out mail and stuff like that, and gaming, whatever. So the pen might not be a primary part of this device, even though it has support for it, like I said before. And outside of that, if we just subtract the pen, the device works fine. Like I said before, there is no high refresh rate, which is a shame, especially in 2020, where mid-range devices come with a higher refresh rate. So not really sure why a device for what is it, $650 or euros doesn't come with a high refresh rate. So it's another thing. Now, I do have to say that the pricing of this device is fairly compelling. At 650 euros for a new one without a pen, it seems okay. I would still probably go for a Galaxy Tab S rather than this, because Galaxy Tab actually comes with a higher refresh rate and costs roughly about the same price, and the fact that it comes with a pen is just a bonus. So that is just my personal take on this. Now, it might seem like I'm kind of hating on Apple. Honestly, I don't really pick sides here. This is just my problems with the business models of it, not really the devices of it, and the pricing. Now, I'm solely and always judging the opinion of the device based on the what it brings. So all its specifications and the price tag behind those specifications. I don't really care what manufacturer makes it. The thing that I care about is how it runs and what it offers me, and this device doesn't offer enough for me to actually recommend it. Now, obviously, if you're already stuck in the Apple ecosystem, you probably don't really care what I have to say. You're probably gonna get it anyway, so obviously whatever I have to say doesn't really apply to you. And even that being said, if you're already stuck in that ecosystem, I'll probably tell you to stick with it anyway, because you're gonna have a far greater support for it than if you, for instance, have almost everything Apple and just a single Android device. It wouldn't really make much sense. But if you're not stuck in that loop right there of ecosystem with Apple and having everything from them, I strongly suggest you to also stay away from this. Just don't bring yourself to it when there is basically as good of an alternatives somewhere else that offer you more comparing to this thing. So that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.